I'm Brandon Fiskus, your host today with Nebraska Entertainment Monthly. And in the studio today we have
Lucis Sheridan.
I almost called him Taylor Sheridan. Not the same guy. No relation.
No relation. Maybe a cousin. I don't know.
Okay.
It's kind of up in the air.
We'll have to do that 23andMe later or something like that? Okay.
Exactly.
Now, Lucis.
Yes.
Tell the audience a little bit about yourself, just off the cuff real quick, just a little bit of a mini introduction.
Yeah, so my name's Lucis Sheridan, from Nebraska. I grew up here, been working in film industry for over 20 years now. I do mostly producing, a little bit of directing. I act. I don't like acting, but sometimes you just get thrown into parts, and that's what happens. So, yeah, just born and raised here, been producing, lived out in LA. I've worked for the studio system, worked for independent films, kind of done the whole route. So, yeah.
And you grew up in Lincoln,
Yes.
Born and raised in Lincoln.
Yep.
So what, from being in Lincoln your whole life, what got you into filmmaking?
So yeah, when I was young, I really had a arc where I just kind of knew growing up that I wanted to go into film because it was something that could get you out of your life for a little bit. And I just kind of knew from the get-go, I was like, I want to create something that gets people an escape away from their life and the troubles that they're having and gets them into a world where they can just escape that for a little bit. And so I always knew I wanted to be going to film. I always knew I wanted to be behind the camera. It was just figuring out what I wanted to do behind the camera that really was the hard part. So right in middle school, I started, I jumped right in and started working on college films. And that led all the way to moving to LA. And, I was going to go to school for film, but by the time I had gotten to college, all the film professors were like, what are you doing? You've been on our sets for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And I had an opportunity to move to LA, and so I took that opportunity. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what got me into it, was just the love of film and trying to create worlds, and I just thought that was the coolest thing. I've always known what I wanted to do. I'm lucky, So
I gotta bring you back to your younger years, playing in the backyard and things like that. Some people might not know what an 8mm camera is, but from what I understand, that was one of your favorite toys growing up.
Yeah.
What were some of your challenges and just early experiences as a filmmaker in those senses compared to what anybody can pull up a phone these days? So yeah,
I learned on 8mm, 16mm. It was very different because with lighting now and digital now, you can see right on a screen. Right. And then, everything about then was about metering and measuring, and you didn't know what you were going to have until your film was developed. Right. It was also a little bit more expensive. Digital now makes everything so much cheaper. So you really had to plan every little detail out, and you couldn't shoot for hours on end. It wasn't take on take. So when you're a kid and you're shooting with your friends, it's not exactly easy to get them to go along with your plan. But, and then piecing that film together and learning that whole art of film. And it was quite weird because I grew up in an age where digital was just starting to become a thing. And so I had to learn all the basics of how to shoot, light, do everything with film. And then going into the digital market, I think it helped me because it really helped me learn every craft on a film set. And especially when you're using film, there's no second chance when you burn that film. Yeah. So, I was very grateful for it because I think a lot of creators now, a lot of filmmakers, they have every opportunity to reshoot, shoot, and shoot. Mm. And so, which is nice for them, but you have to learn the fundamentals.
You have to do your due diligence and the planning ahead so you don't waste that time and film and money.
100%. And so I was lucky with that. I was very lucky to have that experience, and it made me grow as an artist and a creator immensely to have to go over those hurdles, right? Gotcha. And even those cameras back then are, camera, film, it was so expensive. Everything's become a lot more streamlined and affordable. So which is grateful for young filmmakers. It's really cool that they can go out there and have that opportunity to create something off their phone.
Right.
'Cause their phone looks just as good as some of the best cameras out there. So, you know, it was a struggle, but it was a learning experience, I would say.
Have you ever thought about picking up an 8mm again one day and trying to experiment?
It would be cool. It would be cool to do a film with 8mm again, if I could find a place that would
process it.
That would process it. Yeah. You know, I think someday I'll probably go back to doing another film on film. I think we've lost a lot of that art, and I think that it would be cool to have maybe even a competition.
Oh, yes.
To put people, you know, in the spot and give everyone a film camera and see what they can do.
And I think there's a market for that around here in the Midwest mainly, especially Nebraska, having the small town theaters that we have.
Oh, yeah.
There might still be actual working film cameras out there. So if you guys know of any, you know, get a hold of Neem, get a hold of Lucas. We'd love to talk about that. That would be amazing.
There's a lot of them sitting on shelves now. So
right.
I think it'd be really interesting to have competition like that. I think that's a great idea. I think we should put something together like that here soon.
That'd be fun. Now, you mentioned shortly that when you were in school, your professors are like, why are you still here? What are you doing with your life? Can you kind of explain, you know, what brought you to that final point other than your professors yelling at you to pursue filmmaking professionally, and how was that transition for you from Midwest boy to California and stuff?
Yeah, so I was lucky. I went to high school with two guys who, and another Nebraskan who decided to move out all kind of at the same time. And we, you know, I was like, I was going to start college and just go through film school. And I got an opportunity because one of my friends had moved out there, and they were like, hey, we've got a room for you, move on out. The president of Fox at the time needed an assistant. And so, and my buddy had a production deal through the president of Fox. So I was like, you know what, I'm down, let's just move. And it was scary because I think I was 19 when I moved out to Los Angeles. And but I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. Made the leap, and it was one of the best things I've ever done. I got to really start my career off really young, working with producers like Deepak Nair and Sandy Grushaw, and you know, got to work with actors like Bill Pullman and Colin Firth. And it was just really interesting because I had a great group of guys, and we lived in a house. We called it Cypress House Production, and it was just our little house in Pasadena, California. And we got a lot of opportunities to do commercials for, you know, Ford, doing Mustang commercials, doing short films, working on TV shows. So, you know, I really got to kind of dive in, and we also met up with a group of musicians who 5 of them have Grammys now. So, nice. Our little house met some other people, and you know, when I moved out to California, we were part of the Nebraska Coast Connection. We'd go all the time, which if you live in LA or you're an actor, or even if you're from Iowa, there's a thing called Nebraska Coast Connection out in LA. I believe they meet in Burbank once a month. And it's top industry professionals. It's run by Todd Nelson. He's one of the, he created it. And we just got to meet up with a lot of people there, and they really help each other out in the industry. They give each other jobs, they give each other advice, we work on each other's films. And so I really got a lot of growth from that. I met Kevin McMahon through there, and I, you know, ended up producing his first film, his first feature film through there. And yeah, so it was just, it's kind of like this jump that I kind of just jumped in, was terrified, and ended up just kind of working out. So
gotcha. So you mentioned producing and stuff, and I know that you worked on a short film, I believe in 2010.
Okay.
A Grave Mistake.
Yeah.
And you were co-producer, cinematographer, but also, not to mention, dead guy.
Yeah, I was the dead guy.
Yeah. So how did you manage, you know, having to pull all those roles together? And
Yeah. So I worked with a guy I knew who worked for a comic book. He was what's that? Black is it Black Horse Comics?
Black Horse Comics.
He was a artist for Black Horse Comics. He had done a bunch of their comic books. He wanted to do a comic book movie.
Nice.
And so he knew nothing about movies, so I kind of just jumped on the project. And I had come back from LA and was helping him with it. And it was just a fun short film. It actually won a bunch of awards, but we just kind of went out there, we shot it, and I got to play a dead guy. We needed an actor, so I jumped in and laid on the ground and was in it for about 5 seconds being the dead guy. So and I've been in quite a few of my films, being thrown in as producer. Like, I get killed in a lot of them. So
so adjust the camera, make sure it's all in frame, and then go lay down.
Yeah. So on that film, I was pretty much doing everything on that film. I was cinematography, producing it. I helped edit some of it. So you always have that, right? Like, even if you're, you've worked on major films, like sometimes you just go and you have another short film that you do, and you just got to play all the parts. You got to do all of the crew positions, and that's just kind of how film is sometimes.
Well, and then you moved on to producing Military Husband.
Yep.
And what kind of got you into that? What were you aiming to, with a message with that? What drew you to that project? So
Military Husband was directed by Kevin McMahon, and he came to me and he said, I have this really beautiful idea for a movie about he said, you always see men get deployed overseas, and you always see these grieving wives at home, missing their husbands, but you never see, from a guy's perspective, of a guy being at home with his wife deployed. And I just loved the twist on it, and so me and Kevin geared up, and it was a fun movie. It's pretty emotional. We shot that in 2008 or 9, I believe. Came out, maybe it was all the way through 10, but it was cool. We got to do some military shooting on Cloud Ranch out in LA, and that's where they shot Iron Man. They've shot. Every time I see a new TV show or movie,
hey, I've been there.
Yeah, I was like, I've been there. It's so they've got a basically a Middle Eastern town set there. That's really cool, and so it was a lot of fun. It was a tremendous undertaking because we didn't have a major budget, but I think it turned out really well, and it was just a fun movie to work on.
So as a filmmaker,
yeah.
Do you have any creative projects in the oven right now?
Yeah.
On the horizon?
Yeah, so I have a couple. I'm working on a movie called Bunker Boy, which is kind of a fun, I'd like to say it's a thriller, but kind of a sci-fi thriller about a boy who lives in a bunker. I can't say too much, but it's kind of a twist on a psychological thriller of this older man who torments this boy and puts him through all these trials and tests. It's a fun movie that I'm working on, but we're also working on a lot of other stuff with getting film investments and grants here in Nebraska. We're working with a bunch of other studios right now on trying to bring more films here. We've been working with Dig Site Productions and ENFO and NEAM and the Nebraska Film Alliance, and just trying to really bring more things to Nebraska and work on incentives and grants. So creative-wise, I've got Bunker Boy going. I'm working on it. I'm writing out some kinks, and then I plan on shooting that hopefully in the next couple of years. And then just been really focusing down on right now getting Nebraska amped up and put together to really bring more film industry here.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Now you mentioned FAN, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
Film Alliance of Nebraska. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what their mission is as a whole? You mentioned some of the partners that are kind of within that community and things as well. So basically a lot of professionals who've worked in the industry have got together and said, you know what, we need to really team up and really get a unified voice here in Nebraska and say, look,
There's been, like you have like a lot of other states have come together and really built an industry. And Nebraska, we're getting incentives, working on grants, and we really need to build that industry and really get people in the right places. And so, it's the Film Alliance is really about getting the top industry professionals and all the filmmakers together and saying, hey, if we work together, we can build something greater. And so the Film Alliance is working on building out programs for students, working on building out master classes, building out different tiers, different information so that we can collect all this information, put it in one thing. So if you're making a movie, you can go to a folder that we have on the Film Alliance or go to many things and say, look, I need releases, I need this, I need this. And so it's just basically like a category of a bunch of filmmakers getting together to kind of push government, push studios, kind of unite people, get people, have a hub for people to go to if films are coming in. Right. And so we're working with many other great programs that people have already put together, but it's really just about unifying Nebraska filmmakers and building kind of a hub for people to go to.
And how did you kind of become involved in that, and what is your role within?
So I'm the head of one of the committees in FAN, the government committee. I'm the chair of that, and then I'm on a couple of the other committees. And really, I got united because I had talked to some other filmmakers who were doing a lot of stuff, and I'd kind of left film for a while. I was doing YouTube for a while, and I came back because I saw that I really wanted to build a unity in the film community, and I was worried about the future of the film community, and some things that had kind of gone wrong in the film community here in Nebraska, and I just saw some people that were kind of taking advantage of some things, and I didn't like that, and I really believe that everyone should have a fair and equitable chance here in the film community, and that everyone should have that opportunity. And so I really just came back and met with a bunch of filmmakers and said, hey, let's build this thing, let's get this thing together. And it wasn't just like my idea, it was, group's idea, but they were gracious enough to include me. Right. And, and I just said, anything I can do to help. And so that's really been the big push, is just trying to put procedures and policies in place to protect crew, to protect actors, because we don't really have that here right now. Right. And the biggest thing for me is just protecting the youth's future.
Right. Now, I know that Film Alliance of Nebraska is in its early stages and such, but how, you kind of mentioned it a little bit there, could you maybe pick or choose a couple things that you think they do support the local filmmakers in the most, or maybe even like a success story that you know of already early on with that highlight? Yeah,
so we're real early in the building process. So I can't say there's too much success story yet. I think the success so far has been talking with government. So the state of Nebraska has incentives and grants, and we've been pushing them, they've been trying to get rid of some of these things, or they don't feel like they're necessary. And so it's nice to have kind of a pushing force behind that and say, look, no, there's a lot of people here. So we've been working with the government to give them crew lists, to show them the amount of filmmakers that are in Nebraska, the amount of artists that are great at their craft, and to really show hey, look, this is an industry, this is being built. And so we've been working with the government and sending them information step by step as we've been building it to really push that forward. And I think, getting anyone who contacts me or anyone else, we will do everything we can to put you on set or to help you with getting to figure out what you want to do in the film industry. I think that's the key to it. Being on a set is really cool. It's probably the best thing about being a filmmaker. Right. I've had the opportunity to be on some pretty cool sets. I got to be on G.I. Joe, which was, that was the biggest set I've ever been on, I'll be honest. G.I. Joe was crazy. And so it's just that we're really just pushing to build that for the existing filmmakers and the filmmakers coming through. And so right now I would say mostly what we've succeeded in is working with government. We're building the policies and procedures now, but that's kind of where we're at right now. We're just too early right now,
I
but
gotcha.
we will be there in the next
Right.
about month. I'd give us a month before we're really up and running, and we're pushing out a bunch of stuff.
Sounds good. So I'm assuming that will be when like the website and all that kind of stuff is a little bit more layered out there for more people to actually be able to go to for.
Yeah. So
help
yeah,
and
we
assistance.
have I think 8 or 9 different committees that are working really hard on designing everything, getting everything up and running. Anywhere from funding to marketing, and it takes
An entire village.
an entire
literally,
village, right?
yes.
Yeah. So it takes a village to really put this together, but we have a lot of amazing people who are helping, right? And it's just incredible what you can build if you really unite people together in a way to get them to all focus on one thing. And I think that's the future of Nebraska filmmaking, is a united front where people can really come to 1 or 2 places and be able to get all their crew, their cast, get all the paperwork they need. Because paperwork in film, like producing, a lot of people don't even know where to start, and so it'll be nice to give people basically just a whole album of stuff that they can just rip off, like take off the site, not rip off, but take off the site,
Exactly.
Download it, and you have a step-by-step guide on everything you need, paperwork-wise, financial-wise, budget-wise, and so I think that'll be the key to really, helping people.
So kind of building off of that, with your experiences and your involvement with Fan and just filmmaking in general, what is your hopes for the future of filmmaking in Nebraska?
Yeah, I think my biggest hope is that we can have a studio system here for Nebraskans by Nebraskans. So a lot of films come in and they bring all their keys here. And they hire Nebraskans as PAs or as supplemental positions. And my goal here is to build a studio ran by Nebraskans with a board of Nebraskans who, have the ability to do TV shows, movies, and then also the learning aspect for the kids. There are a lot of kids who, grow up, move out of here because they want to work in this industry. And I think if we can build the industry here, but build it, I really believe that we can bring Nebraska values to filmmaking.
Right.
I don't want to bring Hollywood to Nebraska. I want to bring Nebraska values to filmmaking. And I think we can do that. And I think if we can build a studio system here in the sense of it's a Nebraska studio system, right, then we can work with other studios. But we put Nebraskans first, and I think that's my main goal with film. If you're from here, or even Iowa, like we put you first, and that would be my goal, is to get people full-time employment here. Right. No more gig work, no more just commercial work, full-time film employment working on TV shows and movies.
And I think there's something that you said, the whole Nebraska values of it, Midwest values and things, because I remember in other interviews with bigger productions and things like that have come to Nebraska, you assume they're always going to say it no matter where they're at. It's like, a stage performer going to Vegas, New York. They always say, oh, this is the best city kind of thing.
Yep.
But I've seen mixed reviews on film sets in different locations, except for Nebraska. I've always heard the best thing. And it's not necessarily the set itself, it's the people that they comment on. The neighbors, the community that they go and visit. It's not a big fanfare of, oh, I need like 80 of my team to protect me and things like that. So I think that's why we see on social media randomly that Bill Murray is walking downtown, things like that. So I think it's that welcoming aspect that we know from living here. We understand it; it's part of us. But you literally have to come here to notice it, to really witness it as a whole. Do you have anything, in closing that you'd like to tell anybody, tell our viewers about yourself or
I would just say anything's possible. I think a lot of people, especially in this industry, it can beat you down. But I would say anything is possible. It's one of those things that if you keep going, I always tell people this, if you want to become a famous actor, if you want to work in this industry, as long as you don't give up, you'll make it. Like, you will make it. As long as you just keep putting in the work and keep going, and you're going to have ups and downs. But if you keep going and you keep pushing, you're going to do it. You're going to at least accomplish what you set out to accomplish, right? You may not become a billionaire, or but I think if you really want to make movies and you really want to be an actor or actress, and you just keep pushing, you'll be unstoppable. I really believe that, and I think as far as closing, I would say we're building some really cool things here, and there's a lot of great people behind it. Get involved. Get involved. Even just reach out. That's all you have to do is reach out. And all the filmmakers I know, will help. That's what I love about Nebraskans too. Is we are always down to help. You want to be on a film set just to see what it's like. You want to. A lot of people don't know if it's for them. Get on a film set. Right. See if you like it. And there's a lot of different positions on a film set. So I would just say reach out. That would be my key goal: is reach out, and if you want to help, we're down to have you. So.
And I can definitely speak from that side of things. I host the Filmmakers Hangout. It's meant for that reason and that purpose, to get people together in the same room that might not. It's not necessarily set based yet, but it's that thing that filmmakers are not scared of having other people, extra hands on set.
Yeah.
Especially around here right now. Yeah. An extra hand is always an extra hand. It's helpful no matter what. So I definitely mirror that and completely understand that. Lucas, I got to thank you for being here, man. And being our guest
thank you for having
today.
me, guys. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah. Where can they find you?
So I am on, you can contact me on ENFO right now. My email's on there. It's just lucassheridan@gmail.com, LucisSheridan. Or, call Taylor. He's got my number. Never calls me back. But yeah, no, they can reach out to me, Facebook, anything. Any way you want to reach out to me. I have a lot of people reach out through Facebook Messenger, and I always get back to them. I'm always down to help. You can reach out through ENFO. Just type in ENFO Nebraska, and then my name is down on the list if you go to contacts there. And they can reach out that way. And I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in to Nebraska Entertainment Monthly. I've been your host, Brandon Fiskus.